Hi all, welcome to another Chess24 Banter Blitz. Okay, it's 11:30 here. I'll just show you this first, this discount code. If you use Kingscrusher as shown here, there's a 15% discount code. So and you can challenge me and other streamers after that as well, because yeah, it's a premium perk for these shows. Okay, so let's move on to accept a challenge. Alright, I'll go to my challenges list. Start from the earliest challenge. The early bird catches the worm here, Kaz. So I'll lower my volume a bit. So French defense. I'll play the Tarash knight d2. And I want to get this central pawn wedge here. I'll have the fancy knights. You have a knight here and a knight here to try and support d4. b6, yeah, is it an intention? Okay, I'll keep this pawn wedge rather than e takes. E takes does sometimes provide perks like the e6 pawn as a frontal target, but in this position actually, I mean, it might make sense to peel open the G file as an alternative plan. So that's nice to exchange off the line square bishops. That should blunt some of my attack possibilities. Nevertheless, if I can double rooks, I think there's a sort of disconnection in black's position here. Because of this central pawn wedge, I think the communication between the queen side and king side is a little bit less than usual. Now I'm wondering about queen h5 though. On g4 takes queen h5 rather. Maybe bishop e3. Lose the rook. Rook g3, rook g2. Maybe I'll do this. I'll try this. I really want. Actually, I could have played bishop e3 just to be able to play rook ag1 after. Maybe that was a bit silly. Although it might be more tempting now for f takes g4. For queen h5 tempo gain, but then I think I just play rook g2 maybe to avoid any hassle. Anyway, I'll play bishop e3 anyhow. So I just want to basically double rooks. There was a classic game of Wei E with a pawn wedge, and he just used the G file. I might have actually video annotated a Wei E game in the French. It was quite interesting. There's something that strikes me about the light squares here. I think if I exchange off the dark square bishop with bishop h4, that would surely be very interesting then. Oh, okay. That's a bit of a concern. I'll go here for a moment. Let's try and keep the queens on. And maybe still play for bishop h4 or not. Knight g3 can take the rook. Alright, so bishop h4 for a moment. Slowly, can I unblockade here? I wonder if I can exchange off the bishop. There's rook g5. If there's queen e4, I would have to consider taking the knight d2. Okay, knight d4 is giving me a chance to evict the queen here and attack e6. And actually, he'll be losing the bishop potentially as well. I think he's got to be careful here about not losing the bishop as well. So something like queen f7. Okay, I can take the queen now and then take the bishop. I was expecting knight takes and then queen f7. Okay, thanks for the game, Kaz. On okay, hi on yeah, let's try Slav. The Slav triangle is is somehow difficult to estimate sometimes. Oh. And if I'm playing knight takes, so I'm encouraging that exchange, and I'm wondering knight takes, e takes. My opponent will have this target here, and I have a nice outpost square which could be used as a basis for an attack. Okay, so something like rook e8, knight e4, just clamp down on e4 here. So one plan for white is the classic minority attack to try and fracture the pawn structure to leave some weak pawns. Bishop g4, there's knight e5. Oh, okay, this could be annoying. Let me see. If I do that and f5, I'm asking for a strategically lost position if he took it at knight e5. I've got to be careful about my e5 square. Let's try and stop this minority attack for the moment. Okay, I'm wondering about this. Knight e5, bishop h5, and then... Okay, if he took and then queen e4, that thing is f6. I hope there's f6 there. This is tactics. Okay, let's take this A file for a moment. So there's pressure on my position for sure. Can I play f6 around about here though? So b takes, I want to take this knight. And if knight f3, I might get some sort of attacking potential. Oh, I don't want to lose the... Okay, no, I think I can do that because the bishop's covering f7. I was wondering about the checks. I think just king h8. Alright, so it's a tricky position. Can I try and reinforce my c6 with bishop e5? Or is it's under scrutiny here, knight? Okay, let's see. Okay, can I dissolve that pawn before it's too much of an issue? It's going to be a major target, so I think trying to dissolve it here is an idea. As rook a2 is a vital tempo gain here, otherwise I'm in trouble, aren't I? He would just win that pawn. Oh, he's winning that pawn anyway. I am in trouble. That's annoying. He's got a pass pawn now. Okay, this is technically a winning position for white. Unfortunately, he's got this big pass pawn. Yeah. Unfortunately for me. Technically, I have to try and do something here on the king side. Right, can I just go here? That's interesting because I'm hitting the queen then and protecting the rook. I hope. I'm protecting the rook, hitting f2, hitting the queen. There's queen f1. Well, he had queen f1. Okay. Yeah, lucky escape for me there. Thanks, Onam. That was starting to be a bit dicey. The classic rocker. Okay, let's just... You know what? I'm going to try the elephant gambit. Oh, I was going to try the elephant gambit. Let's try knight c6 here. Alright, I like the tangoing the knight. And b6, just try and weaken f4. So if I castle and then try and get a knight to f4, I might have to play bishop takes e3, which is not a move I wanted to do necessarily. There are technically double pawns. It's a different plan now. Maybe knight h7 to g5. So knight g5, this structure, okay, so knight g5, knight h4, knight h4, knight g5. I'm going to try knight g5. I don't like this particularly. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, maybe queen h4. Let's see, the queen's coming off. Okay, I can go back if needed. So for the moment, bishop d7. So f7's under fire. Alright, let's just go back for a moment. It's a bit defensive. Yeah, that's a good idea, that doubling of pawns, because it controls key squares and there's the f-file pressure being enjoyed. So unfortunately for me, that was a good idea. I was hoping just for taking on c5 and I would have had the f4 square. So he's starved my f4 plans, well, and he's also created some pressure. So sometimes it's good to have double pawns in the center like this. I remember me reading something about that in some middle game book about double pawns. Sometimes they're good, like if they can control key squares. So here, yeah, it's going to be difficult for me to create to have an exploitable weakness. I think for a moment, I can defensively just double behind. Oh, all that changes things. I wonder if I should dare grab that fraction of my pawns and use the B file. Okay, I'll try using. I don't like fracturing my pawns, but c6, a5 and bishop a6 maybe, and then I can use the B file. Maybe this is the way. I'll keep my pawn structure a little bit more intact this way. As soon as you take there, if they ever recover that pawn, then there's diced pawns. This way, if he took on conceded, the pawn structure is a bit more solid. If he plays c6, I'm wondering bishop c8, and then possibly later try and exchange off light square bishops. Okay, so I'm a bit cramped here on the queen side. This is very good play, I think, from white. He's just being a bit slow about it, though. The b file might be an issue immediately, though, with rook b3 being a nuisance move. I don't know, that queenside seems a little bit vulnerable at the moment. There's also got a target on h3, so the queen's kind of got responsibility on h3. And he's got to do something about h3 as well. The bishop's not entirely useless on c8. Alright, can I take this b file for a moment? But he's playing too slowly here. Time management. It's only Blitz. Time management is more critical in Blitz. He is playing too slowly. Maybe knight h8, f7 to g5 would be good, hitting f3 and h3. That sort of move has been mentioned by Nimzovich and Raymond Keane, this mysterious knight h8 to get back in the center. It's I don't know, called it mysterious knight move or something. Okay, I can take that guy. I mean, I'm happier now. I'm going to open up the e5 square for a bit of counterplay. So there's knight g4 now. Alright, thanks for the game, Classic Rocker. Duke, Crusher. Hi there. I'll play this Slav, I think, today. Slav triangle. I think it's pretty reliable. In fact, I think in real life triangles are supposed to be really solid as well as structures. They're supposed to be like the basis for most stable structures. I don't know about bishop f8. I've just played it. I don't know about it actually. Maybe I should play knight f8. Again, this is asking for a minority attack. This structure, pawn structure, is asking for b4, b5. Okay, I can enjoy that outpost again on e4. It stops b4 for a moment. Knight takes c3. I'll commit to weakening e5 for a moment. I'll try and slow down the minority attack a bit. I think there might be a case for g5, g4. I'll take that. That's so annoying. Let's just go here. Let's take this. This sometimes I like that because of the f-file clamp on the f3 square. King side attack versus minority attack here. I'm thinking rook e6, but there might be bishop g4 though. Okay, rook g6. Alright, I can immediately create a threat here of bishop takes h3. I think this is just an idea to try and brew something up over here. But how? Rook e6, rook f8, this minority attack in the meantime. He's got bishop g4 as well. Alright, I'm going to take this pair of pawns off and try and put pressure on f2. c6 is held laterally. Oh, the 7th rank. Maybe bishop takes c6. But then I don't have any attacking potential with the bishop. But then the 7th rank opens up, so... Oh, maybe bishop takes c6 in this case. It's kind of the swings and roundabouts there to be assessed. Do I open up the 7th rank, or do I have the bishop not as aggressive? It's a trade-off decision, and I don't know what really swings it actually. Here there might be something still up about the king side. I'm hoping queen e7 isn't too damaging to my position. I'm not threatening that, because king g1, okay, let's just go back for a moment. How is this rook and pawn ending if I played queen f6? If I played queen f6, I would have this backward pawn here, but he's got a target there. There's two targets we can both go for. Rook g2, I don't think it's doing anything. Let me see. Is this ending a bit miserable? Okay, hold on a sec. Let's just do this for a moment. I'm wondering about, rook f6, rook g2, queen f3, if king g1, rook g6, if king h2. Alright, can I get to play king h7 without dropping anything? So rook f6 with the idea of potentially rook g2. Oh, my back row's now weak. No, I can't allow doubling on the back row. Okay. How's this rook and pawn ending then? Does he want the rook and pawn ending? Let's stop. No, I'm not sure. I'll take that. He's got backward pawn there, potentially. I'll push the king back here. I'll do that, and then rook e6. Now, if f5, king f5 to e4 looks okay. If rook e1, alright, it's kind of weakening a bit. I'm going to try and zugzwang for a moment. Not zugzwang, but improve the position. Okay, king e4 here. And then king f3. Now, if f5, there's king f2. Trying to win this pawn. Potentially this one. Or maybe this one. Somehow I've got the edge, I think, now. Again, it's a position I can wait here for king e4. King e4. Pacifies the rook. It's going to be a sort of zugzwang again. I don't want to stalemate. There's king g2. I'm just worried about stalemate a bit now. If he gave up the rook, there's still king g2. Alright, so bear in mind there's king g2. Just drag these, herd these pawns. As long as there's king g2, then they can't give up the rook. So if rook b5 I take, there's king g2. Okay. Alright, thanks for the game. Okay, let's go on to Anna 2004. Let's try this Slav. Okay. I'll try the triangle again. Hasn't let me down so far. The dreaded triangle. Okay, I'll take here and then knight d7. I think I'll go for bishop b7 here. And g5 seems to win a piece in this position. You've got to be careful about the forcing moves in the position, even if they look really anti-positional. This is a very powerful forcing move because she has just blocked the bishop's retreat. Now f4 bishop h4 pins the queen. Now I made a bit of a mistake there. Can I this bishop before I get killed? Okay, bishop b7, queen c7, castle, queenside. If I can castle queenside. Well, actually there's queen takes e5 here. That's a weakness of the last move. It's just neglected e5. Yeah, the weakness of the last move is like, I think in karate or something, you can, where the opponent's about to hit you, you can see what their weakness is, and it's almost like karate. It was in this Secret of Chess by Maurice Ashley. He emphasized this weakness of the last move. You're kind of using the opponent's energy against them. So, I mean, tactically, yeah, it's opportunity. It's the instant opportunity, knight g5, queen takes e5. But it happens a lot in Blitz games statistically. A lot of games in 5 minutes or less, even between IMs and GMs, I think a lot of weakness of the last move rather than grand plans. So, let's see. There's right, and I seem to, okay, this pawn's dangerous though. This pawn is potentially dangerous. Can I do something? Maybe knight e3 and bishop f4 would be nice. Yeah, on h5. Okay, now this looks nice. Hitting the rook, and knight takes e3. It looks nice. Yeah, thanks for the game, Anna. Okay. A Pennicon. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember, there's this classic, well, there's a few classic films by Jackie Chan, and he's got one hand only available, and he's got about 7 people attacking him, and he just uses their strength against them, basically, and it's kind of, you do have I think there's this metaphor in chess where every move creates a weakness behind it, so it's almost like you're doing that in chess terms sometimes in Blitz. But in the longer games, you would hope that you play a move and you fully checked it's not more negative than positive. So, okay, so bishop e3. But nevertheless, even in Grandmaster games, I've noticed a lot of blunders happen just before the tone control move 40, and it's often of that type where they play a move which seems good but has a negative. The problem with just labelling things generically as blunders, you don't really evolve, in my view, as a player. If you can't really understand what's going on, the mechanics of blunders, if you just label them generically as blunders, I don't think it's a very good tool for you than to really classify and understand blunder types. So I really like the concept personally of weakness of the last move. So anyway, Queen f3, e5. Casting queens, I know. Can I play for... Oh, there's knight b4 on queen e2. A3 seems like a bit of a weird move to play, but I want to play queen e2 and bishop a6 without knight b4. If I have queen a6, there's 2 possibilities. King b8 or d7. There's another way of playing this. g4, g5 for knight d5, I think. h3, g4. I can play this like this. g4, g5, knight d5. g5, knight d5. If c3, knight b3, king c2, that should be okay to kick the knight with c3. h3 is hanging here. Maybe f5 for a moment. Knight d5 might be okay here. f4 I'm worried about, g3 I'm a bit worried about. Not so much with the knight on d5, but g3. Kicking this knight is actually going to be useful. Yeah, maybe. Maybe f6 first. Oh, I just dropped g5 like a moron. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I've just dropped g5. And it's check as well. Okay, great. I still haven't got totally gone. It's the position's still, I think, okay, I need to play the position. Knight f3, rook e3. Let's go in here for a moment. Bishop a6 might be threatened here. This looks dangerous with the knight and queen. Yeah, it looks mega dangerous. Because also there's potentially a rook left, but there's always queen e1. Potentially there's a rook left. The queen and knight combination there looks exceptionally dangerous to the queen here. c3 actually blunts any rook left. That's a problem with c3. Queen c4, just to avoid the exchange of queens, and invite again the bishop to be taken. Rook f1 might be a good tempo gain here. What do you do on rook f1? Queen e2, maybe? Right. Bishop d3. c4. Control the second rank. I think b4, double the rooks, might be the way to go. c3 is covered here by my knight. Mind you, rook d5 and the knight c3, so hold on a sec. I should just take... There is rook e2 now. Oh man, how did I do this? I thought I had a good position earlier. No! No! I managed to lose that pawn as well. Oh great, oh great. Okay, okay. He stopped king h6. Are you kidding me? Okay, I've just been robbed of all my pawns. Try and be annoying. Okay, well played. Tough. Well played. I shouldn't have allowed that counterplay. That was great. Oh, yeah. I think a5 was not needed either. I made things worse. All right. Okay. Right, bishop d3, and then okay, try and recover mentally a bit. Queen h5, g6, knight g6, bishop g6, queen. Knight g4. Queen h5 doesn't do anything, does it? Knight g4, lose d4. Bishop e4 doesn't necessarily do anything. Okay. Let's try and double the rooks. Queen h5, g6. Well, there's knight d7 here, but the knight's holding f6. So okay, queen h5. There's rook c8 potentially. No, there isn't. Okay, maybe that's useful to provoke g6. 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 h4, h5, just to soften the triangle here. h4, h5. If h5 happens, maybe queen f3, which hits f6. So h4, h5 might be the plan. Queen takes c1 is threatened. Oh, crikey. Queen takes c1 is threatened. Oh! Oh, I'm going to go back to base here. Oh, this is not good. Queen takes c1. My back row is a bit weak here, potentially. Oh, there's even knight c3 looks dangerous. Okay, knight c3 looks dangerous. Okay, let's just do this for a moment. Knight c3, queen c2 maybe. Maybe queen c2 and then knight f7 or g6. Knight g6, queen g6. No. Oh no. Okay. That was a good one. Queen c3 was a good one. Was bishop e4. Okay, let's do this for a moment. Doesn't seem to damage the position too much. Maybe bishop to b3. Try and hold up these pawns. F7 is a target here. Queen f3 then. If bishop f6, bishop d5. Is that a mistake then? No, hang on, he just takes the queens off. What to do? Oh, maybe knight. Nope. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I give up. I don't know. Queen d4, bishop e5. I'm aiming for knight c5 here. But queen d4, bishop e5. This is a bit of a desperate idea. Oh, there's queen h. There's queen h4 as well. Okay, okay. There's queen h4 check. Can I do something with this diagonal? This diagonal is also dangerous. Okay. Oh, this looks horrible. Okay, can I do this for a moment? Oh, there's mate one. No, there isn't. Although that looks as I'm losing a piece now. King g1. Okay, I'm losing a piece now. This is really my morning. Great. We'll just take the bishop. Oh, come on. You had me, man. You had me. It's just, I'm broken. I'm a broken man now. I'm just a broken. It's snowing outside as well. I've just noticed it's snowing outside. It's picture postcard outside. Okay, anyway, well played. I need to recover. I need to start playing good moves again. Okay, if possible. No, well played though. I mean, you guys are clearly improving. So let's see. So bishop e3 and I don't know, b3, is that okay? I'm going to get this out of the firing line to be able to play b3. I'm hoping this is possible. So bishop b2, queen c2, knight d5. Right, so bishop b2, rook d1, knight d5. I quite like this position. Generally, I quite like it recently. I had some good games of it with this kind of thing. So let's see. Knight d5. Try and weaken the dark squares, and then later, if the bishops come off, then f4, f5. should be more effective without the bishop defensively. So take off this defensive piece and then try and establish a kind of form pawn with f4, f5, f6 later is my basic idea. And I remember this game of Adams in Lloyd's Bet Masters. He demonstrated that with the black pieces. He took someone's fianchettoed bishop off with something like bishop as black, bishop d5, bishop d2, and then later f5, f4. Really cute game. I really found that game cute at the time. But I'm going to try and use that idea here. So exchange off the fianchettoed bishop, then f4, f5. I can do this for a moment. There's no queen f6. f6 might be unpleasant to play. Right. f4 is difficult here at the moment. Oh, knight f4 should have been considered. Hitting h3. Oh, this diagonal's scary. Okay. Queen c3. Then king h1, then knight f4, then rook h8. Maybe knight g4, then hits f6 with the rook there holding h3. So I want to play king h1, knight f4, and after rook h8, knight g4. So knight f4 to provoke rook h8, and then knight g4. Okay, so here we go. I'm hitting h3. Does he let h3 go, or does he play rook h8? Knight g4 nonetheless, even though f6 is protected. This might be handy to have the knights like this. No, can I grab this? There's a bit of play on the h file to factor in. But I don't know, it's a pawn. If I can not get mated, it's going to be useful. King g2 to unpin the pawn, hold f3. Possibly h4, h5 later. And there's another pawn here. There's no bishop e4. I can take this, I think. Oh, there's also e6 dropping. This looks like bad news for black with e6 dropping. No, that is bad news for black, surely. H-pawn was one thing because that gave a perk. But these two, I think, are more crucial. So there might simply be, well, rook e6 and then maybe even rook e5, because that's actually black's best piece. I think to take out black's best piece here is going to be devastating, because then there's still dark square weaknesses and those knights can come in with the queen. So rook e5 looks devastating. Rook f6 looks also devastating. King f6, knight g4. There's just no defense against, surely, the queen and two knights here on rook f6. And then knight g4. And so in fact rook e8, rook f6, knight g4. This looks... Alright, I can play it with knight d5. And then queen e5. I missed that. Doesn't do anything. Alright, thanks for the game, Graf. Alright, probably not. I'll try and play something solid as white here. on this occasion. Would be boring or not. Is this? Oh, do you want me to not play the London system? 1, if London system is okay. 10, don't. 10, don't. Just tell me. You can vote here. 1, London system is okay. 10, don't. It's like, I don't know. Do you just tell me 10 if you don't want me to play a London system? Quickly vote now. Right, this will affect other future games if you want. Okay. All right. Anyway. Okay. I don't know if my opponent's around. Let's just carry on. Cobra. Play an exciting Sicilian defense here. Classic Nigel, which is many classic encounters like Fischer Tau Fischer. This is quite exciting stuff. Queen c7, b5, bishop b7, knight e5, knight c4 is a plan to use that square on the semi-open file. This is quite often a very useful square. Just even if it just gets that light square bishop, that could weaken white on the light squares, winning that light square bishop. So this whole maneuver to try and weaken white on the light squares later is good. Especially you can imagine a bishop on this diagonal without a counterpart. It would be a greater pressure on the center e4 square. So this idea of bishop b7, knight e5 to c4, bishop c4, queen c4, you can see that the pressure is building up on the diagonal. And if you can attack through the center, if you can break down this center, then there's g2 later as a target. So bishop b7, rook c8, and the king's already a target on the light square here. So rook c8, knight e5, knight c4, and maybe later something like d5 potentially. I like the fact that there's an x-ray here of the bishop and the king. Okay, so knight e5 to c4, but yeah, he could play no, not now. b3, I'm not really sure. Can the knight be tolerated on c4? That's another question. Do I end up winning the dark square bishop instead? Alright, so this light square bishop, I mean, is worth getting. Now there's knight e4 tactically here for bishop g5. I've just noticed a forcing move, knight takes e4. It's like pedantic, but you've got to be also pedantic in chess. Knight takes e4 sometimes anyway. Bishop takes g5 looks strong. It blows the center up. It wins the dark square bishop. So that pawn is already weak. Queen c5 to e5. Just to hit this pawn harder on e4. So queen e5 coming up. Knight f3 though, queen e4. My d6 is about to go. Or is it? No, e3 is hanging at the end of that. No, it's not. He's got knight f3. Okay, knight f3. Go here instead. Now queen d6, there's still, well, there's queen e3. This diagonal, yeah, this looks interesting. This here, this g2. Maybe rook c5 to e5 then. Rook c5. There's also a nice switch to the king side with queen h4 and rook h5. I've got to be careful. Looks at the rook. Alright, so knight f6 threatens. As I say, I have to be careful. I think king h8 should be okay here. If rook h3, queen g4. Okay. My back row's weak. I have to get back to the back row. Because otherwise, I think there was queen d8 check, and I get back row mated on rook c8. Alright, e4 here. Can I just take that? I hope. G7 is a concern here with the queen and rook. So maybe bishop g6 would be an interesting solid option rather than f5, which kind of opens up my second rank. Knight e5, I can just take that. Okay, can I kick this queen out of here? There's no rook g6. Just checking forcing moves. I think I'd like to get the queens off. Here there's always rook g6 potentially, but maybe it's worth puns. Alright, so I can pin that knight. Did he have rook g6, I wonder? Maybe there was queen e3 there. Okay, but that was getting a bit dangerous. What to do? I need a waiting move just to see what he's doing. This will do as a waiting move. Alright, this one I can hit h4 after. Okay, so h4. Alright, thanks for the game. That was quite exciting. Thanks. Okay, Kramnik student. Haven't played a Dutch defence against Kramnik student for a while, have I? Maybe a Dutch defence. It's still staying quite heavily now in London, North London here. Okay, is Kramnik student around? Okay, maybe he can challenge in a bit. Just while we're waiting, just as a reminder, 15% discount code for Kingscrusher. Okay, I just will put that in as a reminder if you want to go premium. Okay, for those that just joined the stream. All right. Let's abort now. On did we just play on he managed to get in another challenge. Okay, I got Shilling Ford waiting behind this. Okay, I'm going to abort here. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, necessarily. Shilling Ford might be around. Oh, don't tell me I've just accepted 2 games simultaneously. I don't want to do a simul. I saw a boring Kramnik game recently. I'll try and emulate it. So he Finn chattered and D4 C4. It was against Peter Zvidler actually in the Tatar Still, and it was about 30 moves. Have we got technical problems here? Sorry, Kramnik student. Yeah, you say you're right. I've requested to accept that. Okay, I had to step out. Okay. I was looking forward to my possibility of playing Shelling. Oh well. Molly. I'll try and play this boring thing I just visualized against Molly here. Molly Alloy. Okay. What's happening here? What's happening? I hoping to get a challenge soon. Alright, so Fenneman, hi. I'm playing this gambit because it's usually a bit of fun. Yeah, I'll go with that E5 here. Tempted for F4, but it's probably a bit too overkill. Putting pawns on the dark squares too much, which gives rise to a blockade on F5 potentially, which I don't really want to happen. I'll go for Bishop H7 here because there's no... The soft spot H7 is a bit more delicate than usual, with this pawn wedge on about knight on F6, or a knight being able to come to F6 that easily. So I'm thinking this Greek gift could be quite effective here in this particular configuration. Bishop F5, thankfully with the rook there, there's Queen F7 for Queen F5. So I don't think bishop f5 is helping too much in this particular position. Sometimes it does. Okay, so this is pretty dangerous now. So the queen h8 threat, let's say king f8. Okay, that's happening. I'll grab this pawn, and it gives me queen f6 as an idea. There's also g6 and bishop g5 to think about. Actually, there's also rook h7. Maybe that's even better than g6. But let's see. It's his move. Okay. I'll start the ball rolling with this. And then maybe g6 with the idea of bishop g5. Or g takes f7. So g6 around here now. Threat bishop g5. Now let's say king d7, g takes f7. I can just win the queen. And castle queenside. And d5 castle. Pin the bishop. King c8, rook d5, queen f8. So there's an overload here for rook d5, queen f8. Okay, there is c4 here. That's why I thought king c8, but then, yeah, rook d5, queen f8. Okay, thanks for the game, Finman. Watch out for the Greek gifts. Okay, this guy's been okay, yeah. I have a bad feeling. Based on last week's game, I have a bad feeling. Yeah, okay. Can I get away from knight takes and then knight d5? Maybe f5. I don't know if it's too weakening. It might be too weakening. I certainly don't want to play b5. Can I get the queens off? I don't know if I'm doing myself any favours with this. Probably not. And there's 95 coming. seems to win a pawn. Nearly. That's knight c7. Knight c7 maybe. If can I do this? I suppose I can. I'll have to consider taking her. If I play rook, yeah, for a moment. Oh, there's rook e1. I think that's, unfortunately, that's winning a piece, isn't it? Oh, it's queen g5 for rook f4. Okay, maybe I can. Oh, no, he's protecting f4. I think it's over. Yeah, it's protecting f4. Okay, well played. Okay, Spectra. Okay, so knight f3 and bishop d3. Maybe rook e1, knight e4 and bishop g5. Okay. Let's see, bishop g5 might be good, and then h4 after. Knight e4, queen g3, rook b1. Maybe rook b1. Okay, so bishop f4 for knight e4. Then there might be knight d6. Bishop g5 looks okay. Let's cause f6. Let's do this for a moment. The king's in the centre, so I'm hoping this is a bit dangerous. Can I just remove this defensive knight and then think about the dark squares a bit more? Okay. Oh, there's always queen f5. I'm going to stop queen f5 with rook e5, I think. So I can play queen f4, queen f6. There's f5 though. There is f5. Okay, he plays f5 here. I think f5 was needed. I know queen f6 looks remarkably dangerous. Okay, yeah, I think f5 was important there to defend. Okay, thanks. Davranium. Davranum. Okay, I'm gonna abort here, I think. So we can have a game with, I think Kramnik student was behind that challenge. I mean, the one waiting as well. Hopefully we can get a game with Kramnik student to end the session today. Yeah, let's try 1970 style system. Maybe h3, this is popular recently. If I just leave that rather than knight b3. This does remind me of some crude attacking plans like g5 and queen h5. Now this knight c4 could be a pain. Yeah, knight c4 could be a pain. However, f5 immediately, e5. Queen h5 doesn't seem to do anything, so knight c4 is a real pain coming up. So something dynamic against knight c4. I think I need to know what I'm doing concretely against knight c4, otherwise I could be in big trouble. Alright, I think we're playing knight d5 now for knight f5 and ed. this looks like a bit of fun to be had with ED. I think it would at least mean, alright, there's bishop d4 here targeting g7. If I can get in ED, b3, c4, that's a sort of clamp on the position, which is more pleasant than other positions I was checking out. So b3, c4 would be the ideal to shut down this bishop. b3, c4, queen h5, g6, knight h6, bishop a6, queen h6. c3 does knight c4. Maybe that's not a problem. I can play c3 for a moment. Right, so d5 is a problem. Can I play queen f3? This is going to hit d5 harder. Can I play queen f3 just for the moment? Queen g3 for knight h6. Takes. That looks dangerous. I was going to get rid of my nice bishop, my nice attacking bishop. Okay, at least d5 is a bit secure at the moment. There is also a rook left, not rook left, a rook switch. So h4 to think about here. Somehow. So queen h5. Right, b2 will drop. But something like knight h6. And there's also rook b4 here, I just noticed. Rook b4, queen c2 hits the knight. But it does save my pawns for a moment. Let's imagine queen g4 there for knight h6. Maybe that's worth a punt. Queen c2, queen g4 with a view with knight h6, g takes, king h8. Well, there's queen takes d7 there. Is that also just knight d4? If he nudges the knight d4, if queen g6, f5 squishes the queen. Knight d4, queen d2, well maybe knight c6. If takes, I win b6 if the knight moves away from b6. So knight d4 to c6. Yeah. Knight d4 is actually threatening the knight as well as the queen now. Alright, I think this is nice to get in knight c6 to try and win b6. I could be mistaken. There's the possibility, okay. Queen g3 here as rook e3. That could be a pain. I could wait for that though. I think he's sort of weakening his back row with that. I think there was rook c6, bishop c6 with the idea of queen f1 or bishop c6, queen f1. Alright, can I tuck my king away? Or do this for f5? f5 might be interesting. Round about here. There's knight e5. Knight e5. Maybe there's rook e4 on knight e5. I've got rook e4 here, which is a nice pin potentially to have. And then FG looks a bit dangerous. Is it doing anything? Or f6. Or just double the rooks. Or knight e5. Okay, I've got to do something here. Double the rooks. e4. Okay, something. I'll try doubling the rooks. I might not have anything. Okay, it's possible I haven't got anything here. Knight c6. Knight c6. I can't see anything. b4, queen c3, queen f2 for rook f8 though. Maybe that's something at least. Oh, I didn't expect that. He's giving me the light square bishop to play with. I thought you'd take that out of the equation. That's potentially bishop d5. Yeah, on queen c3, bishop d5. I can torture the pit on this queen h3. Oh. Oof. Got a bit lucky there. No, I thought you'd just get rid of the bishop to avoid these possibilities with the bishop. It's a classic time lottery at the end. Okay, thanks for the games today. Okay, I hope you found them interesting, and have a good rest of the week. See you next week. Thanks very much. Cheers then.